Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey! What's going on
right
over
now,
there?
what you don't understand is about to begin.
What you don't understand is
That's Jet Steve Wisegow.
that's Mark Blanchard over there.
Hello, and what am I
Hey!
wearing? And what am I wearing?
Look, is that Brandon Nimmo?
Brandon Nimmo, baby.
Brandon Nimmo, 5 for 5 yesterday.
5 for 5. And you know what the real truth of the matter is?
What's that?
I was there.
You were at the game.
Carmen Blanchard and I were sitting there in the stadium, and I might even have a picture of it, which I'm going to look for. Of course, me finding something technical is not going to work.
Good
well.
luck. Well, while you look for the picture,
Wait a second. Wait a second.
You have it right there.
What is that?
Hey, look at that.
What is that right there?
Look at that.
That's Kyrie sitting right there. Now, let me just tell you something about watching a game, and this is where we're going to begin today in Dodger Stadium. Okay. Okay, the only more hated team when you're a Mets fan than the Dodgers is, of course, that piece of crap on the other side of town over there.
No, we don't talk about that. Let's talk about your experience.
Okay.
Talk about your experience yesterday.
But I will say one thing. When you are over there, it's the last thing I have to say about them for a long time. But when you are over there in that other stadium, they're not stupid, the fans.
No, they know the game.
They understand the game. They're stupid because they root for the wrong team. And of course,
that's different. You can't do anything about that.
And everything else. But in Dodger Stadium, sans and only sans the Latin fan base.
Yes.
It's a pretty good fan base, okay?
Yes.
Every other fan is stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean stupid. Like we're sitting out there and we were 4 rows from the field on the Mets dugout. By the way, saw Scherzer warm up, saw Ottavino warm up, saw Kingham or whatever his name is, saw Akasuku, all our guys warm up, and you could hear it going pop, pop, right there. This was right there. We're having a great time. They'll be up at bat, and a Dodger will hit a pop-up that doesn't even clear the infield. And everyone, other than the Latin fans, who would sit down and say, "Oh, man," everybody else is, "What?"
Yeah.
Whoa, what? They didn't.
Well, what? By the way, they except for the Latin fans who get there the same time Met fans do, the rest of the Dodger fans.
The only people in the stadium, 20 minutes before the game to the end of the game, were the Dodger Latin fans and Met fans.
That's
it.
Everybody else, they show up in the third. They leave after take me out to the ball game.
Which, by the way, and Carmen was like, "Dad, you don't have to make fun of everything. You can be nice and everything." I said, "Carmen, if you take me out to the ball game twice, you need to be made fun of because it's one time through. That's it." Harry Carey made a staple of it. Every other ball field in all of, I've never been to another ball field that sings it twice.
No.
The Dodgers sing it twice.
Well, you know why? Because it's La La Land. They have a rehearsal, and then they have
they do it. The rehearsal, they're ready for their camera time. It is embarrassing to watch.
It's embarrassing, dude.
I can't tell you how dumb. And I will go back one time, and it ended up being, I think, the last time he ever pitched. But I was there years back. You were still here at that time. And John Maine was pitching. And John Maine had a perfect game into the 7th.
Right.
A Dodger gets up. They're down. It was either 7 or 9-0. It was over. Perfect game, and it was not okay. A Dodger gets up, and I can't remember who it was because I wouldn't ever put that disgusting filth in my.
And they broke the perfect game
with a bunt. 9-0, 7-0. One of them, 7 1/3. He had already struck out the first batter. He lays down a bunt and beats it by a hair, and the stadium went berserk. It was like they had won the World Series twice, just screaming and yelling. And I'm looking at these fans and I'm saying, are you out of your minds? Do you understand there's a written rule? You don't break up. Okay, if it was the ninth inning and you were down 1-0 and there was a guy that somehow walked and got over to third and you were trying to squeeze him home or something, that's acceptable.
Right.
But it's not acceptable to break up a no-hitter with a bunt. So he pitches through this inning. He holds his shoulder now after the next thing and everything. He comes back. He finishes the game, complete game, one hitter. Nobody else gets a hit. I don't think John Maine ever pitched again. It ruined his career. It was when he got hurt.
I don't know. I remember he pitched the last week of the season when we were in first place by 7 and ended up dropping 7 in a row.
Right. Yeah. That was that season. So but, I don't know, but they're just absolutely dumb. But I will tell you.
Well, you know what? It's they don't even, except for the Latin fans, they go there because the Lakers aren't playing. That's
it. And the Lakers won't be playing much longer, by the way. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But
we'll get to that.
That being said,
yeah,
I'm in this game, and I have to tell you something about this Met team. This Met team is starting to gel. It scared me a little bit, but Nimmo had a double. Nimmo had 2 singles. Nimmo had a drag bunt. Nimmo had a 2-run smash over to the right of us by only 30 feet, or we would have caught it. You know, this play, big smash. I'm telling you something. This team is gelling. They're playing together. You know, I don't want to say anything, but if they go up into San Fran, which is where they're headed this morning or yesterday, I don't know. I guess they probably went up yesterday.
Last night.
They take 3 out of 4 because it's a 4-game series. They take 3 out of 4. They're coming home in first place.
Look,
and they're not turning back.
They are. You know, it's funny. I was looking at the standings yesterday, and Atlanta had just won their 8th game in a row, and we're only 3 games back. So imagine now the shoe is on the other foot.
Okay, but they lost last night.
Or did they?
We're only 2 back.
Okay, so we're 2 back. But the point being, right, was last year we were the ones who were winning stretches of games and couldn't make anything happen.
Couldn't make the distance.
So this year,
I'm telling you, I hated it in the beginning, but I'm thinking about it. I would like to stay like this until around the midway point where we're fighting back and forth, and then we overtake them and run away.
Well,
and
I'm
going to tell you why. We're going to run away because Ohtani's coming to the Mets, and if he doesn't come to the Mets, someone special is. Now, here's our weakness. Because we have to, play the bullpen one early, we don't have the closer guy that we were planning on. Ottavino and Robertson have to share the closing duties, and they're both good, but they're not great. But they're great at 7th and 8th innings, and that's where they should be.
Well, but unfortunately, it's to your point. It's if we don't get, and that may not happen until the All-Star break, a lights out closer because of missing Diaz.
Right.
This is not going to be.
We might need a Yakisoba to hang in there. A couple of Yakisoba.
No, he pitched great yesterday.
Came in,
comes in,
gave up
pitches great.
He gave up a sacrifice fly, which scored a run, and then that was it.
That was it. He pitched great. By the way, I there's a couple of things, but we'll get to the first thing.
I want you to mention Scherzer.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to.
Okay.
I did say, look, the interesting thing I learned about yesterday, he is the 3rd pitcher since this rule has been implemented where they're check guys. He's the 3rd pitcher who is tossed from a game.
By whom?
The same umpires in other 2. These are the only guys. The only guy
in baseball who's ejected someone for rosin, and you could see that. I mean, I didn't see it till after because I couldn't see his hand then, but they showed him up close, and he's going, "It's rosin! It's rosin!"
he said on my kids, it's rosin.
Yeah, he said on my
times in a
kid's
row.
life. He said first he said on his life, and then he went and said on my kid's life. I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't even say that about something I was 100% sure of. You know, my kid's life, and yet that's how strongly he felt.
I mean, but it's just and the thing is, it's the same. It was Cuzzy, the same guy, and the other two guys he tossed said the same thing. They kept saying it's rosin in my sweat.
Right.
And today, and then this morning, the guy says, "Oh, I touched it and my hands were sticking together." I'm like, dude, you're so full of baloney. It's like, come
bullshit. on. But if you watch rosin and sweat with alcohol, you probably create some kind of sticky thing. And they made him do that. He was washing his hands in alcohol in front of the MLB guy right there.
Not only that, but they made him change gloves, which he did. And then they went, no good.
I'm surprised that Scherzer, with as crazy as he is, and in his passion, didn't take a swing at the guy. I mean,
well, he lost it. I mean,
he did lose it, but he should have lost it. And I'm telling you something, the guy should lose his job. The guy should lose his job. 3 strikes. What is it in baseball?
3 strikes and you're out. I mean, if there had been.
By the way, this is what I needed. This is what
it's Garden of Life right there.
Not only Garden of Life, but 40 billion CFUs. 40 billion right there on top of how many strains? 16 probiotic strains. So 40 billion and 16 strains, that's almost 2 strains.
Don't ask me.
It's almost 3 strains.
It's a lot of strains.
3 strains, a billion. I mean, it's crazy.
Listen.
I can tell you one thing. Without this yesterday, although I took 25 billion yesterday, without this yesterday, my stomach would have been, I couldn't have done it.
I'm telling you, you know what? You got to have that healthy balance because your lower intestine, your gut and your lower intestine.
That's right.
So important. So important.
Key to life. Things have to move through you correctly. They don't get stuck. I had a good one this morning. Clean, out, feels great.
There you go.
But
it's about keeping your system healthy.
Yesterday I need it because I go to where they said they had California Pizza Kitchen. It's supposed to be Wolfgang California Pizza Kitchen. I walk back 30 feet. It's right there. Oh, wow. I got Carmen and I a cheese pizza. I'm eating it, and it's like frozen pizza. They literally got the name, and they didn't use it. I said, Carmen, you think it's because they put it in a microwave? She goes, no, Dad, this isn't Wolfgang. This isn't California Pizza Kitchen. It's something else. I said, well, that's false advertising. And, of course, my daughter wanted to let them be, Dad. They can have fun. I said, no, you're not having fun with my good thing. I had my probiotics this morning.
If you didn't have that,
forget it. It was awful.
You would listen. I don't know if you'd be feeling a little verklempt.
I mean, I made it. That's a good word.
Yeah.
And early in the morning. I love it.
Early in the morning. So, big day by Nimmo. Big day by Yacobonis stepping in, making it happen. It'll be interesting to see if what this deal with Scherzer is. But again,
what about Marte?
we only have
Did you watch
the history of this thing? 3 guys thrown out, and it's always the same umpire. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on, stop it. And rosin is what they tell you to use. You're supposed to. They've been arguing that the ball is slippery for the past 3 years. 30% more guys are getting hit by the pitches.
Well, if you remember, before COVID,
they're trying to get better control.
Before COVID, when Syndergaard was still on the Mets, and they were saying he was licking his hands and he was trying to get a grip, and Bryce Harper said, "I want him to get a grip."
Right, I don't want that ball coming at my head.
100 miles an hour.
By the way, he's not anymore.
Well, no.
I don't know what's going. I don't know what's out. He pitched a good game. Yeah. He could not throw the ball over 92 or 93.
He's done, dude.
He threw a cutter. He threw that was his pitch. It was this 91 mile an hour, 92 mile an hour cutter. Now he got the Mets, but I think for most of the time, I think it was because they were expecting to see Syndergaard.
No, I think it took its toll. Him constantly trying to throw 100 plus.
Right.
And hitting the weights and then throwing 100 plus, then ripping his lat and then ripping it again and still trying to throw.
Right, yeah.
I mean, this is an unnatural motion. This is not, and you're putting so much torque.
Please tell me about it.
But when you're throwing at 100, it just goes all the way,
all the way to your foot. I'm saying so, their back and everything. I mean, so one more thing. What happened to Marte? Because I didn't hear about it. They pulled him out.
I didn't hear anything either.
It was something bad, I'm thinking.
No, I didn't hear anything.
He was over
today. All they were talking about was
he was over 3 squibs each one, and they pulled him.
Maybe he's got a listen. If his hamstring starts to get tight,
they're gonna back him out.
They're gonna back it off. Okay. I mean, these soft tissue injuries, these guys, they never go away because they don't really do anything.
They shouldn't be getting.
Well, they don't stretch.
Please. All right.
So, but I will say that, again, big day by Nimmo, big day by Yakubonis.
Huge.
Big day by Yakubonis.
Huge.
And, that's good. I mean, eventually Verlander will take the hill at some point.
But I thought it was supposed to be before the end of April. Is it when they get back?
I don't know. I mean, next week is the end of April.
Right. So when they get back next week.
Yeah.
That's it. Maybe that's when he's coming in. And now, if by any chance Scherzer misses a start because of this, he's going to come back for sure.
He's probably going to miss a start.
But I don't know. I don't think they're going to. I think the MLB.
Well, they're going to appeal it, but he's probably going to miss one start.
I would sue the league. I literally, if I was him, I would sue. And
it's funny. They showed him the dugout because Scherzer is one of the guys.
And it was his left hand. It wasn't his right hand.
Who has the pitch comp thing. Yeah. And they showed Hefner putting tape, double-sided tape,
right,
because he sticks the pitch comm on his glove hand. But they say in the right hand had this and that, and I was like, I don't know. It seemed a little. Again, if it hadn't, it happened 3 times, and it's always this guy.
I spent 12 years despising Scherzer. 10, 12. Why? Because he's so good. Yeah. And he was steady, and he was a bulldog, and he got in there with his $2 heterocornea and looking at his crazy eyes and everything. But he didn't cheat. Nobody ever said he cheated, and he never threw the ball 100 miles an hour or anything.
And his ball doesn't snap off the end of a table.
No, it moves like this, and then that's the movement you do it from rolling the hand, not from the snap. Yes, he has a changeup if he wants it, but that's a forkball kind of like old school thing. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It's stupid, but I mean, again, you just look at the fact that it's only happened 3 times, Brandon Nimmo, and it's always the same guy. That doesn't raise a red flag. The entire rest of the league, nobody's been tossed.
Big red flag.
And the guys that have been tossed, it's always this guy. Always this guy.
Big red flag.
And I've never seen anything stick. Shut up, dude. You're not. All right. So Mets looking good. 2 games out.
Many victories from behind, from crawling in, coming back and forth. It all looks good. They're stealing bases.
Good. By the way,
playing hard. And Beatty looks like he can handle the pros now.
Beatty got a nice hit yesterday.
Alvarez got a couple hits. I mean, so who knows?
Alvarez got a hit. I'm gonna. Before we go off the Mets, I want to close with one thing because we're talking about the great game of baseball here. I do like the new rule, pitch clock. It speeds the game up. I do like it. From my vantage point, I was looking straight at it. So it's 20 seconds if someone's on base. It's 15 seconds if no one's on base. And let me tell you, it moves. No, I like that.
They get back on the mound. It's 5 seconds, like in a blink of an eye.
I like it. I like that.
It moves.
I like, the bigger base.
I hate the throwing over rule. The stop.
I don't like that rule at all.
And that's going to get changed, I think.
It will. Yeah. But, and I like the bigger base I could care less about, whatever.
Yeah, I thought I'm out in left field. I'm thinking I'm on first base.
Yeah,
but I swear I reached out and my hand hit first base.
But I want to share something with you that I found here, okay? And this is from one of the greatest modern day hitters, Mr. Don Mattingly. And he said and this is talking about all the nonsense. He goes, this is a game of competition and adjustments. It's not a showcase or spring training games. What worries me is that we're evaluating on the wrong things. You can't evaluate a player on exit velocity or launch angle. Hitting is about situations and adjustments and how you're being pitched.
And prior to his back surgery, there was no better hitter in baseball.
Right.
I don't want to say it, but
the point, well, Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was a better hitter.
Yeah, at that time period, Tony Gwynn.
But basically,
same thing though. Tony Gwynn. He didn't have any launch angle. I'll tell you what his launch angle was.
Stop looking at launch angle.
From one foul pole to the other foul pole.
Who cares if you hit it at 110 miles an hour? You don't get extra points. You don't get extra points. Anyway, I thought I would bring that up.
I cannot agree to you more, because we're doing such a disservice to little leaguers, and your son is one of them, that to try to get him to hit home runs and everything, that's how, you got to teach the kid the way that we learned, the way that our parents learned, the way that our grandparents learned. You have a level swing, you hit the top half of the ball. If you happen to hit it dead center, okay, but that's not what you're trying for.
It's hard. I always say hard enough. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports when you are focused. So
even when you
guess you are trying to hit under it, you're just going to strike out more. You're going to hit it less for the sake of 10 extra home runs.
The Mets are where they're at. They're not leading the league in home runs this year, even though Alonso is, but they're leading the league in getting the hits at the right time.
Yeah, timely hitting. So before we go to, you want to go to the Jets next, with one quick stop. Again, when you're talking about your gut health, your lower body, what do you got there? Look at that. Garden of Light.
What comes right into focus?
Garden of Light.
And look how happy that specimen is on the front there, too.
Happy.
Look at that. That's a happy. Look at that. Everything gets better. This one is called Mood Daily Care, because if you have a bad stomach, you're in a bad mood.
True.
I mean, it's simple as that. If you get upset about things, your stomach hurts, you get worse. If you eat the wrong thing, your stomach hurts, you go lay down on the couch.
Right.
Happy stomach. Okay.
All right. So
happy wife.
Happy wife.
Stomach,
happy life.
Happy life. That's
happy stomach. Not too many trips to the bathroom.
No,
it's good.
And that's true. An unhappy wife. You have an unhappy stomach, you have an unhappy wife.
Well, that's because you're leaving the bathroom not in a good state.
It's all over the place.
For the Jets, nothing new is going on.
Jets.
Nothing new is going on. Right now, I think the rest of the planet has finally come to grips with what I've been saying for 3 weeks. This trade will happen during the draft. It's like all of a sudden they're like, I guess the trade's going to happen during the draft.
And I'm one of them. Guess what? I think the trade's going to happen during the draft. That's what you don't understand. What you don't understand is I think it's going to happen the night of the draft. That first night. The draft, there we go. And as you know, I was a little bit on the fence about this. But
when you say a little bit, you mean hunker down on the fence.
Under the fence.
Yeah, you were the fence.
In the what's that called? The post. Under the post is where I was.
It's happening after we make our pick. Green Bay picks 2 picks later. So anytime between the 15 and then the next night, it'll happen. And that'll be that. The interesting thing in this draft has nothing to do with the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers jerseys at the draft to throw to the people in the stands, Jet fans, and they'll be putting them on.
Better be number 8.
That better be. If that better be settled beforehand too.
Nah, he's wearing 12. Yeah, he's going to wear 12. So
he better not wear 12.
That's really it. I mean,
he better not wear 12.
I think he's going to.
I don't think so. Not after all this too.
He's that guy. He don't care. World revolves around him.
It does. And listen, the only way that New York doesn't take this guy's head off,
Super Bowl win.
if he puts on number 12 and he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, he better run.
Well, he's not playing more than a year anyway.
He better run for the hills.
He's not playing more than he'll run for the.
If he puts the number on,
yeah,
and we win.
Well, if he delivers a Super Bowl, he can wear whatever number he wants.
Then I think it becomes mandatory to wear number 12 as a quarterback of the New York Jets. Maybe that's been the problem. They need Namath. They need Joe Willie. He doesn't promote this because he hawks his own stuff that is for rubbing his shoulder and
his arthritic, this, that, and the other thing.
Namath pain or something. It is, he's got.
Let me tell you something. It's amazing.
He's a fan. He's a fan of probiotics.
Let me tell you something.
Look it up.
It's amazing that guy can walk.
Namath pain, CBD oil, and probiotics. That's why he's still walking. Okay. So there is one more team. There is one more team. Actually, there's two. We don't go to hockey because neither one of us are.
Hey, I'm a big hockey guy, but you got to applaud the Rangers, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to applaud them. And
I can't speak to it. You got to be happy to it.
The Devils.
Right, so let's talk about.
Apparently, the Devils.
I put on my Knick hat.
Bounce that ball. There we go. Now. And we'll skip through. A lot of teams are in are in contention, first place, playoffs, everything, and because the basketball and all the hockey teams in the. So let's move over to the Knicks as I go to this, okay? And I will tell you something about the Knicks. I didn't expect them to win Game 2. I told you that in the last thing. There was no way they were winning Game 2, and I kind of like that they were never in it because now we get. In our stadium, in our house, in the Mecca, the greatest sports venue of any kind in the world.
The world's most famous arena.
MSG, baby.
MSG.
We're going to win big tonight, although we're not playing tonight.
No, but Hart getting the extra days off was good.
I like that. Tomorrow, we're going to win big. Big. I'm telling you, we're gonna come out. We're gonna go up 2-1, and then we can start thinking about, hey, we got 4 games left. We got to win 2 of them.
Tomorrow night, I expect 24,000 packed to the rafters, screaming and yelling.
Oh man, hanging from the rafters,
and
Randall or Brunson or Hart or all three are gonna make 3 brilliant diving, scrappy old Knicks plays. And the place is going to go berserk.
Yeah, and Clyde will be on fire with the swishing and dishing and the
swishing and varmishing. And Spike Lee will be there in whatever kind of outfit he comes up with and all, and a little jumping up and down. Like, I mean, he looks like he's my favorite
most people.
Character.
You have to tell people who Spike Lee is because a lot of people don't know who he is.
Spike Lee happens to be one of our great filmmakers of the modern last 30 years. Few bombs, but some great ones in there. Going back to she's got to have it.
She's got to have it. Do the right thing.
The Malcolm X movie, which is brilliant. The one just a few years ago, 2 years ago, whatever was
before COVID.
Thank you. Before COVID. That's it. I mean, but he's done a few bums, but he's pretty great. And some of the best commercials of all time, actually. He's a commercial director too, believe it or not. A lot of the Jordan.
He's a very talented guy.
So he's a very talented guy. He's about 4'7".
With the shoes
on stilts. He's very New York, Brooklyn-esque. I think his company's even.
He's one of the most vocal Knicks fans
of all time. Yeah. And he bailed out for a year or two because he was so fed up with Mickey Dolenz. Now Mickey Dolenz a monkey? Did I go monkeys?
Yeah, you went monkeys.
I went monkeys. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think of him, Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not very much brighter than a monkey.
James Dolan is not
his name?
much brighter than a monkey.
It's not,
All right.
It's not Mickey Dolenz?
No.
What is it?
No.
What's his name?
James.
Oh, that Dolenz guy. The guy who supposedly owns the
Not supposedly, he does.
He does, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, he's not as good as Uncle Steve.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
He's not as good as Woody. He's the worst. That's rare form. Go ahead, Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve, the premier owner of New York sports right now.
Premier owner of sports. That's it.
It's it.
Everybody
knows.
Everybody knows Uncle Steve. So there's
go
gonna
ahead.
Be,
You got a pearl of wisdom for me?
Come on.
Okay, let's go.
What kind of a question is that?
It's a general question.
And I'm gonna
the Mickey Dolenz question.
Okay, and I'm gonna lay it on you. Okay.
Here we go.
When I was at the game yesterday with my middle child, Carmen, the Regent Scholar at UCLA. Genius. Okay.
Yeah.
Full academic ride over there, thank goodness, because this isn't yet. Come on, Garden.
Yeah, come on, Garden of Life.
Come on,
go.
Garden.
Let's go.
Do what you need to do. Okay. I was sitting there and she was, correcting me and this and that and everything, right and left, and she always does. Then I was thinking, I'm sitting here with my 19-year-old, almost 20-year-old daughter that I've been going to games with, and she's a Mets fan since she was a baby, and she's never lived in New York. She's been there 100 million times, but she's never lived there because we've lived here since. Her sister Rowan lives there now, but that's but used to be a Knicks fan. I don't know what she is anymore. A fan of something, not sports. But I'm sitting there and I'm thinking of a line from a Tom Petty song. Okay. I may be paraphrasing it a little bit, but it's on the Wallflower album, I'm pretty sure. And at the end it says, it never seems to be that the things that I worry about ever come to be. So in other words, it's the wrong words, but it's close. They never come to be. The worries you have in life that you're worrying about, most of the time, they never come to be. It's not what happens. Something else happens. So as I'm sitting there with her and I'm thinking about this and there, I said, what am I worried about? I'm in such an amazing space right here in the sunshine. Look at that tan from yesterday. Look at that. That's a big difference. So I'm getting there. I don't have to worry about it. I got the Arab skin. I can run around with camels and I'm okay. So you're sitting there getting a tan, and I'm thinking about, okay, it's middle of the day. I should probably be doing something else. No, stop worrying about it. I'm here. So what you have to do in life is most of the things that you worry about, boys and girls, they don't come to be anyway. So if you spend your time worrying, that's the problem. That's where you're not getting anything done. That's where you're making yourself feel bad. That's where you may act stupid to someone because you're in the stress. Stop it. Live in the moment. If there's difficulty in the moment, deal with it at that moment and move on. And stop worrying about things that may never be anyway. Doesn't ever help. Now, even if they did help, you worry about someone passing away. Well, someone's going to pass away. We haven't figured it out yet to stay forever. So all that time, wouldn't it be better to spend good time with it? And I read something this morning that the last day of Christopher Reeve's life, Christopher Reeve was Superman. That, in my mind, still the real Superman, not the Reeves from way back, whatever it was that was on the TV show. He was my favorite Superman. I remember sitting in 86th Street Theater one time, and the whole is go, yo, Soup, let's go, Soup. And then back when I was there in Lexington, and the theater that was right by the. So tell me, so what do you got going? So listen, because this is where I do the big finish. Big finish. Yeah, here it comes. All right. So what you need to do is understand that he was sitting there. Christopher Reeves with something in his throat the day before he was about to leave the earth, paralyzed from neck to toes because of that horse accident and everything. But he spent it with his son. And his son now, who also lost his mother about 6 months later, the one that stayed there with Christopher the whole time, she died of cancer 6 months after it. So this kid grew up an orphan in his friend's house, but he's like successful in 100 different ways, and he's kept up the foundations for his parents and everything. What he was taught by his father under catastrophic, 11 years out of the 13 years that he was spent with his dad was a vegetable almost, except not in mind and heart. He stayed true. He didn't worry about the outcome. He stayed with the son, and he showed his son to stay strong, stay clear, be there for life. Be there for life. Garden of life.
Garden of life.
Be there for life. Stop worrying, my friends. Most of it's not going to happen. Start acting on the moment, in the moment, about the moment. Pearl of wisdom.
Pearl of wisdom. So basically, don't live your life in the rear view mirror or look through the windshield of what's ahead of you.
But don't go too far ahead of you, because I would say
you can't drive doing this.
Let's end it this way. No rear view mirror for sure, other than learn from your mistakes.
Learn from the mistake.
Okay. No way down the road mirror or reflective glass or anything either. Right here in the moment. Go. You see, you want it, go get it now. Don't wait.
And you enjoy the moment with Carmen at the game.
And I did.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's part of my.
By the way, when does she turn 20?
September the 8th.
September the 8th. So right around that time is also the 20th, our 20th anniversary, because she was a baby when I met you.
Oh, wow. Look at that. And prior to that time, by a couple of months, 4 months or 5 months, is your son's bar mitzvah, which.
Well, that's the end of this month.
The end of this month. That's right. And by the way, I need your new address. So you got to send me that. I
will send you that offline.
Thank you. On the text thing, not up here. Yeah,
no.
I need that right away. It's living in the moment.
Listen, you got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it when it's in front of you, when are you going to enjoy it?
Tomorrow? The next day? Next year? Who knows?
Who knows?
And who knows?
All right.
In the moment, baby.
In the moment.
It's Garden of Life. So those
Garden of Life, fix your lower gut.
Mets.
And
Jets.
I guess we'll see you next time, Knicks. Huh?
Jets. Till it is again. Ciao.
Paul Blanchard.
Jet Steve Weisgau.
Adios.